Hi everyone, welcome back to the Virtual Food Festival. It's been a great day so far. I hope you've managed to have an opportunity to grab a bite to eat or get yourself a little drink. It would be amiss really not to have a drink in your hand watching our next fantastic chef, one of my all-time favourite chefs and all-time favourite people to hang out with here on the South Coast in Lyme Regis. For those of you that are just joining us, let me just remind you why we're doing this whole virtual food festival. It's about supporting the producers and the local suppliers up and down the country, not just here in the Southwest. And the way that we're doing that is we're offering loads of brilliant rewards and prizes on our crowdfunding website. You can go and visit there, pledge for a prize or reward, or even just to join us here in the front row. Is just a small amount, and £5 will get you the opportunity of having a one-to-one cooking Zoom lesson with Jack Stein, as well as all of the ingredients and a bottle of wine to boot. So there's some brilliant money can't buy prizes there, all for the price of a pint, and we'll soon be able to have a pint after lockdown. £5 will get you that opportunity. And also subscribe on the YouTube channel. Tell your mates, I know you're watching now, but tell your mates that all of those people that are into food to come and join us. And by doing that, we'll build an audience. And by building an audience, we'll be able to help our suppliers even more. So let's now invite Mr. Hix to the Virtual Food Festival. Something that I really like to do is present and host food festivals. Mark has one himself, sadly this year because of lockdown. It won't be going ahead, but Food Rocks. So an absolute pleasure to share the screen. Mark, are you there?
Hello. How am I joining?
Oh.
Hang on.
Put yourself on landscape.
Landscape.
One more time, and that'll do it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, just tell. Is it Archie that you're with?
Yeah, Archie's here.
Hi Archie, how are you doing? We'll come to you in a minute because you're playing a dual role, aren't you? You're cameraman and champion hero supplier. What we just need,
as
Archie,
well as keeping a safe distance. Yes. So where do you want me? Portrait or
landscape, please?
Okay.
All right. Good.
How's that?
It's not actually working, so just go back to portrait. That'll do.
Is that okay?
There you go.
That's
all right. You both look really splendid.
Are we live now or not?
Yeah, we are live. We're live.
Oh,
hi. This is fun, isn't it?
Am I the only Dorset knob? Oh.
Actually, no, you're not. There's plenty.
Oh, good.
But yeah, what the whole thing, Mark, is it's brilliant that you can take time to come and do a little bit of cooking for us. The whole thing is about underpinning and championing the food suppliers. You've been doing that since the beginning, really, haven't you? You've always championed the supply, and you've always supported local.
Yeah, well, I think menus, the whole thing with menus is that the thing that makes them interesting is where you source the produce. You know, I hate reading a menu that just says corn-fed chicken with asparagus. You know, it doesn't give the customer any information about where the corn-fed chicken come from or where the asparagus come from. So I think, you know, reading, you know, who produces it and the breed and whatever is important.
Yeah, I mean, it helps to tell the story of the food, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, then you don't have to rely on the waiter to sort of fluff it and, you know, try and tell the customer if he can remember where it's from. So, but we have got some great...
There's a fine line there. Yeah, there is a fine line, isn't there, about being engaged in the ingredient and the experience to having just been bombarded. You know, there's a
yeah, and also, you know, the fun of sorting the ingredients in the first place is, you know, the whole part and parcel really of, you know, cooking and being in restaurants and, you know, being a restaurateur. Well, I used to be a restaurateur.
Yeah, and No, it's just a pause. That's all. Don't worry
I
about
just,
it. You've got so many more strings to your bow. So
I'm just
we're
a
going
dog
to do
stop
a quick demo and do a quick demo. What's your dish? And maybe we can chat a little bit about who you're championing as a food hero supplier.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do today is black cow cheddar fondue. So the story behind that is that black cow vodka is the byproduct from the whey from the cheese from the Barber family.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
I've always got some in my fridge, and I've also always got the black cow vodka in my cocktail cabinet. I hope I have anyway. Oh yeah, it's right at the front.
That's right, James. That's James Bond.
James,
yeah, exactly. I can see there that you've always championed the world of art as well. You're very much a Renaissance man.
yeah, I mean, I've always been interested in art, sort of through living in the East End, really, and getting to know the artists. So
Yeah.
it's sort of, you know, going to the wrong parties or the right parties, hanging out with the artists. So it's kind of, it will happen that way.
So great. So you're just peeling off the wax cover off the black cow cheddar.
So I've got some double cream here,
Yeah.
which I'm going to sort of reduce down by about a third. It's really dead simple. I mean, fondue is one of those things that got sort of stuck in the 70s, I think. And I love making different fondues. I mean, this is one of my favourites, but the other one I love doing is a lobster thermidor fondue. So you make a thick thermidor sauce, incorporating all the shells and stuff. Then you just have little chunks of lobster on a skewer that you dip in.
Brilliant. It's really simple. And I remember actually, the last time we had a conversation, we were stood on stage at your Food Rocks festival, and you told me that oysters used to be, it was poor people's food.
It was. I mean, oysters used to be street food in
Yes.
London in the sort of late 1800s, early 1900s. And when I did the Oyster and Chop House, when I opened that, I sort of read up and, you know, oysters were street food and chop houses were a sort of, you know, middle class kind of restaurant. Hence where the HIX Oyster and Chop House came from. But yeah, oysters were cheap. You know, they used to bring them up the Thames, normally from the Blackwater estuary in Essex, and they would just sell them literally on the streets. And there was something I read that, you know, they could have contributed to the plague, you know, the Black Death, because they used to just flush them down into the sewer system. I don't know if there's any truth in that.
Wow, that's
Who knows?
Let's hope it stays there.
Yeah, it does. Yes. So double cream, just reducing down a little bit.
And Archie, who is your Archie, last time I saw you, you were clean shaven. Is that a lockdown beard?
No, that's just a normal issue one.
Is it?
He's had a beard for years and a Harley Davidson.
Yeah, it's a standard issue Dorset beard.
Like it. And just for clarity, you are standing 2 meters apart.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
2.5 actually.
If it looks a bit closer at times, it's just because it's a wide angle lens.
Exactly.
But
yes, of course.
We're keeping social distancing and taking all of that very seriously at the moment.
Quite right too. And this is being such a simple recipe, but you know, nonetheless a brilliant one, because you're using what's considered your product really, Archie, is mostly a waste product, isn't it?
Well, I mean, that is one way of looking at it. I mean, milk is an incredible kind of, it's like a book of different wonderful ingredients. And a lot of chapters in that book are often forgotten. you know, when you make cheese, you take all the curds, and then the whey is sort of goes off and has been quite disregarded a lot of the time, especially in Britain. Used to be fed to the pigs because there was such a surplus of it through cheese production. And basically, that chapter of the milk, if you like, is just as high quality as the curds that we use, which comes from the great grass grazed cow's milk that we have in West Dorset. So we've taken that component, we've made a superb vodka, which is incredibly smooth out of that. So ultimately, every bit of the milk is used. There's nothing wasted, and yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
that lovely circular economy.
Yeah, yeah, and nothing. I mean, and it also makes it feasible. I mean, traditionally, traditionally. Oh, we've got a technical hitch here.
Oh,
Are you still there, Steve?
Yeah, we're still here. We can still hear you, Archie.
Trying to get through on the other line.
Can you see us?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, thanks, Mark.
So I've got the cheddar in, the black hair cheddar.
Yeah,
I'm going to cook the asparagus now. Boiling salted water. This is from the Wye Valley. I tried to buy some from those guys up in both in Hampton, Steve. You know the guys I mean?
Yes.
They wouldn't serve me. They wouldn't serve me.
Why not?
I know.
Unbelievable.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
Don't they know who you are?
Well, obviously not.
Who are you?
Right. Okay, so the asparagus is nearly ready. Dorset knobs. I was brought up on Dorset knobs. My grandmother used to leave me. I used to go out to the local nightclub when I was at college. I used to live with my grandparents, and my grandmother used to leave out a tin of Dorset knobs, Branston pickle, and a big chunk of Stilton. And you can imagine the mess the next morning, can't you? You know, because when you open the Dorset knobs, they're quite
maybe for people who are watching further afield than Dorset, do you want to explain what a Dorset knob is?
Yeah, so the Dorset knob, I've had to educate quite a few people on, you know, how you eat Dorset knobs, because even the best foodies and food writers and stuff don't quite get them. They all say they're disgusting. But they're basically a dried, dehydrated bread roll made just down the road. Well, they used to be made just down in Morecambe Lake, but the factory's now moved. And it's essential, if you're going to eat them with cheese, to have butter and a good pickle. I mean, I'm a big Branston pickle fan. You can't go wrong with Branston, can you?
No.
And blue cheese and butter. So that's really the, you know, the essential ingredients to put on top. So, but today we're going to put a mixture of the Dorset knobs and asparagus. Yeah.
And you've lit, oh, I see what you're doing. You've lit the fondue.
We've lit the fondue. I'm going to put the sauce in the fondue. Here we are. You ever been to a fondue party, Steve?
Well, as you said, it was a bit sort of stuck in the 70s, a bit like my dress style. But I have been to, I've enjoyed a fondue before, but we never really used to eat out as a family. Going out as a family to restaurants, we didn't really do until I was in my late teens, early 20s.
Yeah,
so my mum was a keen fonduer.
Was she? Right. So,
Mark and Archie, you know, we've got people who have pledged to come and sit on the front row, and we might bring them on to chat to you. We've also got some brilliant people on our YouTube channel, our subscribers, also keen to ask questions. I've got one here. I've got a question from Penny Searles. And Penny, it seems, well, she might know your grandfather, Mark, Bill, who used to be the mayor.
So.
Searles, S-E-A. Rles, Penny. And
Penny.
so she said that she wants to know about your granddad, Bill. He was the mayor of Bridport. Yeah. And was he an inspiration? He was a keen gardener.
My granddad was an amazing person. He had a painting and decorating business with my dad. He ran the Crown Inn on the roundabout. He was the mayor of the town. He was the chairman of the football club and was a West Dorset district councillor all at the same time. And used to grow these amazing chrysanthemums and tomatoes. And I always remember going up to the Chelsea flower show. He didn't drive, and his friend used to take us up, and all of the chrysanthemums were in these wooden boxes with little water bags at the bottom, and the heads were, about the size of a person's head. And he used to always come back with, medals and awards and stuff. And, he was a great inspiration. I mean, he used to go to work, jokes to one side, on a push bike with the ladder across the handlebars and the pots of paint, because he didn't ever pass his test. So that was his method of transport to get to whoever's house he was decorating. Cheers. Nice to sit.
Mate. Good health and all.
Yeah, and I used to sit with him in the evenings and watch things like 40 Towers and Benny Hill and the Two Ronnies. And he was just a very inspirational person that would, I would always, and I my parents separated. My dad got custody of us, and I went to live with my grandparents, which was, I think, a great thing, for early life.
Yeah, I think that you're right. Something similar to my childhood is that my nan, my mum's mum, lived with my mum and dad before I was born and my brother was born. And that meant that my mum could be a working mum. I mean, she only worked in a corner shop. She wasn't a doctor or a lawyer, but we were kind of brought up on my nan's cuisine. Yeah,
I know. And I think, everyone cooked then. I always remember, whatever day of the week, we used to have stuffed lamb's hearts, and there was always like a slow cooked pork belly, in this funny little green and cream colour casserole that my gran sort of tended to cook everything in. Everything was slow cooked and overcooked.
Yeah.
And my granddad's father lived with them later in life. He was like 99 when he died, and he didn't have any. He had false teeth, obviously, and at night time he used to have a cup of tea by his bed and soak the Dorset knob in the tea so that he could digest it. But he always used to have the wholemeal Dorset.
And then exactly. And then after he'd finished the cup of tea, he used to take his teeth out and put them in the mug, ready for the morning.
Yeah.
Are you drinking that Black Cow vodka neat? Is that the way to do it?
Yes, as it is. Would you like one, Steve?
Stop it. I'm absolutely furious that I'm in lockdown. And I'm really missing going out.
I saw you out on your push bike the other day. I nearly ran you over.
Yeah. Were you aiming for me? Yeah, I've been out and about. What I like to do is get out and about. And we've been taking the girls cycling because the roads are kind of quite empty, and it's good exercise. And of course, there's nobody out on the road apart from celebrity chefs.
Bit of fondue.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's come together very quickly. Can I ask, did you put any Black Cow vodka in the cheese sauce?
Do you know, I forgot. That's reminded me. But it's never too late.
Never. No. You've got to taste it before you put it in, right?
Hang on. Well, the good thing, it stays hot on the burner, so.
Yeah, lovely. That looks amazing. And quick tip for asparagus. They were just in there for what, 3 minutes?
Yeah. A lot of people overcook asparagus, and a lot of people undercook asparagus. I think there's a happy medium of having it just right. And I never peel asparagus. I was trained to peel asparagus. And then later in life, I thought, what's the point of peeling asparagus?
Yeah, what's all that about? Doesn't make any sense. So just
I think
yeah,
it's a French
that's
thing.
brilliant. And one of the things, yeah, possibly. I think you know what I'm finding quite interesting about this whole lockdown is that everybody's engaging in food one way or another. You're doing some brilliant things on your Instagram feed with your daughter. They look really, really brilliant. But you're
He's better than you, Steve.
Hey,
He's better than you are.
yeah, much better than me. Blimey.
We bring him on.
I just chat. But I've also seen you out in your garden. What did I see you planting vines recently?
Yeah. Shall we go and have a look at the vines, Archie? The little mini vineyard. I'm thinking if anyone's got an idea, I've got a couple of ideas for the name.
Go on.
I can't see that. So wait.
We can see you.
That's just here. It's quite small on the slope. You see,
Nice.
Steve?
Yeah, I can see.
There's just 10 vines, and it's Solaris. Rob Corbett from Castlewood gave me the vines.
Yeah.
I dug them in last week. It's pretty hard work. It's really rocky here, but the vines love that anyway because it drives the roots down to find moisture.
Yeah. Brilliant.
So, yeah,
And
I'm
were
doing
you,
quite a lot of gardening. Show them the garden, Arch. So I've got a lot of salads that have been growing all through the winter.
yeah.
And we've got cardoons and lots of different bits and pieces.
Lovely. They usually do, yeah. And do you find, Mark, that you're being a little bit more creative with your cooking because you can't necessarily just go out?
A little bit, but I'm sort of, you know, because I'm here on my own. My daughter went back to London, and for example, in the mornings, I bought some blood oranges from Felicity's farm shop, and I was squeezing them and putting the skins in the compost. Then I suddenly thought, why don't I make marmalade with them? So I just used my old faithful recipe where you boil the oranges whole, in this case, you know, the half skins, and then you add the sugar and you shred them up and put them back in the mixture, and it was delicious. And it was, you know, potentially something that would have just gone into the compost and not necessarily compost, as oranges don't.
Yeah.
But
It's
a great,
interesting, isn't it?
yeah, and you know, you just end up using up things. I mean, I've had lots of different deliveries from local fishermen, the Blue Marine Foundation, and I've been making a lot of fish soup, and I've been buying lobsters and crabs from Tax, who catches our prawns and lobsters for the restaurant.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, been making bisque and all sorts. I've actually got a pot of lobster bisque on now. I took it off for this, so we didn't get confused. But I've got this, which has been bubbling away for a while, and I strained it off. Initially, reduced it down into a sort of glaze, and I keep it in the freezer. So I just pull out a spoon at a time, and so I put some more fish stock onto this and some tomatoes and onions. And I'm going to make that into a lobster bisque. So you know, because you get so much flavour from.
Sounds amazing.
From a lobster shell, you know,
Yeah.
and then you know you just thicken it a little bit with either some flour or rice, as they do in Italy, and you know, sort of half blend it all.
So we've got, yeah, amazing. So you're basically giving us a description of two fantastic dishes. We will get the recipes on our website, so we'll tap you up for the recipes. Don't forget to take, or get Archie to take a picture of your finished asparagus fondue. I've got a question from somebody from the YouTube channel. It's from James Cousins. Now, I know we're championing Black Cow, vodka and cheese, but James is asking, do you think you could make the fondue sauce with perhaps the Dorset Blue Vinny, keeping it local?
Yeah, I think just be careful with the blue cheese in the fondues. It's going to go a funny old colour.
Slightly grey.
Yeah, it's going to be not as attractive, but I suppose you could put a little bit of blue vinny and some cheddar in it, or you could even have some chunks of blue vinny that you dip into the, you know, the white fondue.
Nice. Yeah, good idea. Good idea. And of course, you know, smack bang at the beginning of the asparagus season, but fondues are not just for asparagus, they just work really well. Archie.
Yeah, hi.
Hi Archie, welcome back. What we want to do is make sure that anybody that we champion as a supplier, we want to give them an opportunity to benefit and be supported. Of course, you and Mark are mates and you've always worked together, quite integrated on that front. But where can people buy Black Cow cheese and Black Cow vodka currently? Do you have an online sales?
We do, and now with what's been going on, we've doing free postage. So effectively, it's just as easy as going anywhere else to get it. So if you go onto blackcow.co.uk, you can get our bottles at normal retail price, and it will be posted for free to you along with the cheese. Yeah, no, that's very easy. Otherwise, all pretty much it's in most supermarkets now, I'm pleased to say, and also still in all the local places that we started off this journey in.
Great, and that's nationally, not just in the southwest. You post anywhere.
That's nationally.
You deliver anywhere?
Nationally, Sainsbury's, Tesco's, Morrison's, Waitrose, Majestic, everywhere. Yeah.
And of course, and of course, the other thing is that we're trying to champion the local suppliers. Mark mentioned Felicity's in the southwest. We've got Miller's. We've got loads of brilliant places that we can support.
Yeah, I think those two places are fantastic, Miller's and Felicity's.
And Washing Pool.
Yeah.
Washing Pool, which basically is where our journey began, which is where we really started off with those farm shops, bringing it over in the Land Rover, and that's where the whole thing started. And talk about local. Our milk is really just from Jason's farm over in Broad Windsor, Little Windsor, and so it's local. But now, luckily, you can all try it all over the country.
Great, and you seem to have sparked an interest in the Dorset knobs, Mark. We've got a question from Lawrence. Are they similar to Devon Half Moons?
Oh,
never heard of them.
Never heard of them. Devon Half Moons.
I'm
not sure.
I'm not familiar with that. It sounds slightly Masonic.
Yeah, I've never ever heard of the Devon Half Moon.
I think we're going to try them. They sound intriguing.
We'll have a little Google afterwards.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Doesn't sound as good as the Dorset knob, does it?
No, it doesn't. No. There's no satisfaction in saying. Brilliant.
It's like an astrologer's.
Lads, that was another. Yeah, one for Patrick Moore in days of old. Lads, it's really nice to see you looking so happy, healthy, and hirsute. You've definitely got the right lockdown ingredients, and I imagine
Archie always has plenty. I've always got it in my cabinet, and we've also got plenty of Black Cow cheddar in there.
Brilliant. So,
cheers.
Lads, thanks for supporting us. Thanks for that really lovely, sweet demo. It looks absolutely delicious.
If you're a good boy,
it would be great to be
a bottle of Black Cow. Put it through your letterbox.
Well, let's make him say it live so that he has to commit. Archie?
Yeah.
Are you going to deliver that Black Cow vodka to Upline?
Certainly am.
Correct. Well
no
said.
problem at all.
And lovely to see you both. Thanks for supporting us.
Would you like some
I've
Dorset
got
knobs
another
as well?
question coming in. Yeah. I think leading up to this, I was really looking forward to it, but I wasn't expecting you to say knob more than 25 times. We've got somebody in the front row that we'd like to invite in. Have you got time for a quick live question from Penny?
Nothing else to do.
It's from him watching all those Benny Hills with his granddad when he was a kid.
It's
You can't stop.
It's brilliant. Yeah, comedy gold. So Archie and Mark, stay on screen. We're going to invite Penny in. Penny, can you hear us? She's waiting in the wings. She's sipping
Hello, Penny.
champagne in the green room. It's like the Eurovision Song Contest, this, isn't it, Archie?
Yeah.
Are you there, Luxembourg? We're trying to find out.
The two Ronnies.
Yes, yeah, or the Three Stooges, if I can be included. Anybody under the age of 45 has got no idea who we're talking about. Oh, hi. Oh, it's Polly.
Wait, I'm not supposed to be here yet. I'm just trying out the tech.
Hi, Polly. How are you?
Hello.
Hello, Polly.
Hello, I'm so sorry. I'm crashing in.
It's Dr. Polly
That's
Russell.
fine.
This is what happened.
Join our party anytime.
I'm really sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I'm
How are you?
I'm really.
Got a question?
I was just
You've
going
got a question, Polly?
What?
Have you got a question?
Have you
Well,
got-
I've literally just joined you. Do you mean a sort of? I don't know what you're doing. I've just joined this second. What are you
Hey, we're
cooking?
just having a party.
Yeah.
An online party.
Polly, so let me just explain. Mark, Polly, Dr. Polly Russell, food historian, friend to the virtual food festival, Jack Stein. She's coming on. After Stephen Hendry, snooker world champion, 7 times winner. Polly's coming on, and hopefully we'll be able to get her where she's kind of prepped and ready. It's really nice that you can just gate crash, Polly. Don't feel sorry at all. It's really lovely.
Does
Yeah,
Stephen Hendry drink black cow? I wonder. Does he drink black cow, Stephen Hendry? Pop back, you know, that sort of thing?
I can't
Very
hear you.
good.
I've lost the audio now. Hey,
Don't
I'm going
worry.
to disappear.
We'll see it. Bye, Polly. Take care. Yeah.
I
Nice.
think, Stephen Hendry, you should persuade to drink black cow. It'll be, you know, like pot black. It'll be a hand steadier.
That would be very fitting, and we might even get him to cook a pot roast. Okay, right. So we've got Penny on the front row. Hi, Penny.
Hey, Mark.
Hi, Stephen
Hey,
here.
Hello,
Steve.
Penny. How
Hi.
are you?
Welcome.
I'm
and
good.
thanks for supporting
Good.
us.
I'm loving this. This is fantastic.
Good. We behaved
It's a
ourselves.
great opportunity to see everybody's tidy kitchens.
Oh, yes. Right.
I'm glad you can't see mine, Penny.
Well, Steve, you look like you're in a prison cell.
But yeah, I am. Cell block H.
Oh, somebody's beeping somewhere. It's driving me mad. What is it?
So my question to Mark is, Mark, heard
Yeah.
lots of things about the industry in the press lately and heard, you know, the sad news that you've had to close some of your restaurants down. What's next for
Yes.
you, and what do you think's next for the industry?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we're all in the same boat. It's interesting. I had a chat with some friends the other day on a Zoom or whatever call, and yeah, they were all sort of restaurateurs, and they said, actually, Hixer, you're in the best position because actually you don't own any restaurants anymore, so you've got nothing to worry about. I thought, oh yeah, they're right. You know. So you know, we don't know what's going to happen. It's you know, it's a you know, an ongoing conversation really, but yeah, we don't.
Yeah,
know.
I mean, restaurants are
Everyone's
part of our
itching to get
culture,
out
aren't
and-
they? You know, it's where we all go and socialise. We have a few drinks, we meet with friends, and I can't see how it's going to work so well if you know, we're going to be required to sit at least 2 meters apart.
No, exactly. And then, you know, so when eventually restaurants do open and there's restrictions, you're only going to do half the amount of customers anyway.
Yeah.
And, you know, some greedy landlords will still be asking you for the same rent as they were, you know, charging before. So,
Do you think the government are going to help, you know, particularly the rural hospitality, you know, the chains like the Pig, like the Stein Group? Do you think?
well, my friend Robin
government-
the other day wrote a very good letter on behalf of all of us sort of restaurateurs and hoteliers in the hospitality, you know, in the countryside to Boris Johnson. And it was a fantastic letter, and hopefully it'll see, yeah, because if you think about it, you know, the hospitality industry, which bars, pub, restaurants, takeaways, you know, everything to do with food and stuff, is probably one of the biggest tourism things in the country, and it's never been well sort of supported by the government or anything. They've always sort of turned a blind eye. Catering colleges closed down and all that sort of stuff. And I think it's never quite been recognised as it should. And people take it for granted that restaurants, pubs, hotels are just like going to the post office or going to a supermarket. But we employ an awful lot of people in our business, and it is a huge internationally. We employ a lot of people, and locally, so it is a huge business to be in. And I think it needs to be recognised by the government. And actually, now you sort of hear on the radio that the hospitality sector is one of the the biggest affected really in the whole world. And it is. I mean, it's so sad driving past restaurants and hotels that are just closed. The doors are closed.
Yeah, I mean, it's a core part of our British culture that we go to pubs and we meet our friends and have drinks and have something to eat. And all the restaurants around the country, it is really sad to see them all closed down. And it's hard to imagine how it's all going to come back good and be like it was before. But maybe in some ways, the crisis has a silver lining that people will appreciate the people that work in hospitality and serve food and work in shops. Maybe things will turn around a bit, because catering colleges have sort of disappeared really. There's if you leave school and say you want to be a waitress and that's your job choice, people think that's a sad job choice, not a positive thing.
No, no, exactly. I mean, when I left school, I remember, I went to catering college, and all my friends at school, when I told them I was going to go to London and be a chef, they all thought I was mad. They thought I was, completely bonkers, until I come back a few years later, and then they thought I was a local celebrity. I said, no, I just work in hotels and restaurants. It's not. What made you
decide to go to catering college though? Because that was a big choice.
Well, I didn't really know what to do when I was leaving school. You get to the 5th year and it's like make your mind up time, and you have meetings with the careers officer, as it was then. And I didn't know. And my dad knew this guy called Hamish, who had a local restaurant. He was a musician and sort of local restaurateur down in Bridport. And he persuaded me. We met in the George in town in Bridport, and he persuaded me to go to catering college, which I did. So my dad took me to Weymouth to the college, and that was my career. I had a fantastic lecturer, a guy called Laurie Mills, who taught me a lot about cooking, a lot about partying, and a lot about having fun. And to this day, I still hold him. When people say, who was your biggest influence, and people are expecting me to say, sort of named chefs that I might have worked with or I'm friends with, and I always say Laurie Mills, my old school lecturer.
Mark, is it true that you've got O levels in partying?
A levels, darling.
A levels, of course. Penny, that was really brilliant. Some great questions. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for the opportunity. It's been really
Thank you, Penny.
Thanks for supporting us by pledging to be in the front row on crowdfunder as well, which everybody else can.
Yes, thank you.
Penny, take care.
Great opportunity.
Cheers. And Mark and Archie, what a fantastic session. Lovely to see you both. Take care. Keep on doing the good things that you always do, supporting local food suppliers and producers and making fantastic dishes and brilliant produce. Thanks to both of you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay, so that was great that we can get that interaction with people from the crowdfunder platform. You can do that too with everybody else that's coming up. We're coming back on the hour at 1 o'clock. We've got the amazing Gizzy Erskine, and Gizzy's going to bring a lot of style and quality to our YouTube channel. So let's see you back here on the hour, 1 o'clock. Enjoy the break.